So, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Have you ever had one of those moments where you're speaking English, everything is going well, and then one tiny word just disappears?
Have I ever? James, that happened to me yesterday.
Really? What happened?
I was talking to my manager about one of our projects. Honestly, I was feeling pretty confident. We'd already talked about the deadline, the budget, and a few problems with the project. Then I wanted to mention one file, and suddenly my brain just froze.
Just one word?
Just one word. That's what annoyed me the most. It wasn't even an advanced word.
Now I'm curious. What was it?
Shared.
No way.
I know. I wanted to say, let's use the shared file, but I couldn't remember the word. I just stared at my manager for a second, smiled awkwardly, and then said, sorry, my English is bad.
Can I be completely honest with you?
Please do.
Your English wasn't bad.
It certainly felt bad.
I know it did. But forgetting one word doesn't suddenly erase everything you said before that.
That's true, but in that moment, it feels like it does.
And I think everyone listening knows exactly that feeling.
Oh, absolutely. If you're listening right now, you've probably had a moment where you thought, I know this word, why can't I remember it?
Exactly. And if that's happened to you, today's episode is for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak English with James and Mary.
I'm James.
And I'm Mary.
Whether you're listening on your commute, practicing your English at home, cooking dinner, or just relaxing with a coffee, we're really happy you're spending this time with us.
Because today we're talking about something that almost every English learner experiences, forgetting words at exactly the wrong moment.
And more importantly,
what to do when it happens.
Because here's the thing, we're not going to teach you hundreds of new vocabulary words today.
Thank goodness.
Instead, we're going to show you how to keep a conversation going even when your brain suddenly refuses to cooperate.
I wish someone had taught me this years ago.
Me too. Most learners spend years trying to avoid mistakes, but real fluency isn't about avoiding mistakes.
Then what is it?
It's knowing how to recover from them.
That's interesting.
Let me ask you something. When you forgot the word shared, what were you thinking in your head?
Honestly?
Always.
My first thought wasn't, what's the word? My first thought was, oh no, this is embarrassing.
Before you even tried to remember it?
Exactly. My brain immediately started panicking. I wasn't focused on finding the word anymore. I was thinking about what my manager might be thinking about me.
That's actually something most learners never realize.
What do you mean?
When you forget a word, your brain suddenly has two jobs. One job is trying to remember the vocabulary. The other job is trying to deal with your emotions.
So it's trying to solve the problem while also trying to stop you from panicking.
No wonder it feels so difficult. Exactly. Imagine trying to answer a difficult question while someone is shouting in your ear.
That's actually what it feels like.
What does that voice usually say?
Oh, it's not very nice.
Go on.
It says things like, your English isn't good enough, or they're going to think you're not smart, or, my favorite, why can't you remember such an easy word?
I think a lot of people listening just nodded their heads.
I hope so, because I thought I was the only one.
Definitely not. In fact, I'd like everyone listening to think about the last time this happened to them.
Don't worry if it wasn't yesterday.
Or even this week.
Just remember one conversation where you suddenly forgot a word.
Got one?
I already have mine.
Good. Now here's my next question.
I'm listening.
Did the other person actually think your English was terrible?
Or did you think your English was terrible? Wow, I think it was me.
Exactly.
My manager never laughed.
Did they look confused?
Not really.
Did they say your English is bad?
Of course not.
Then who was judging you?
I was.
That's the real problem.
It's strange, isn't it? We become our own worst critics.
And sometimes much harsher than anyone else would ever be.
That's true. If someone else forgot one word while talking to me, I probably wouldn't even notice.
Exactly.
I'd just wait.
Or help them.
Actually, yes, I probably guessed the word they were trying to say.
Which is exactly what people do in real conversations.
Wait, you're saying conversations are actually teamwork?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I don't think I've ever looked at conversations that way.
Most learners don't. They think every conversation is like an exam.
That's exactly how I feel.
But is your manager giving you an English test?
No,
Is the waiter testing your grammar?
definitely not.
Is your friend secretly giving you vocabulary points every time you speak?
I hope not.
They're trying to understand you.
That's a completely different goal.
Exactly. Communication isn't about proving how many words you know.
It's about making sure the other person understands you.
That's the lesson I wish every learner understood.
Can I tell you something funny?
Please.
When I was learning English, I thought fluent speakers never forgot words.
Really?
I honestly believed their brains worked differently.
That's a common belief.
Then, one day I watched an interview with a native English speaker.
And?
He stopped in the middle of a sentence and said, "What's that word?"
I've done that.
That's exactly what surprised me. I remember thinking, wait, native speakers forget words too?
Every single day.
That completely changed the way I looked at fluency.
Because fluency doesn't mean you never get stuck.
It means you know what to do when you get stuck.
Exactly.
So today, we're learning recovery skills.
Not perfection.
I already like that approach much better.
Me too, because perfection is impossible.
But recovering?
That's a skill anyone can learn.
So where do we start?
We start with one incredibly simple phrase.
Just one?
Just one. It's a phrase that native speakers use every day, on work, with friends, on the phone, and even in interviews.
Okay, now I'm curious.
Good, because in just a moment, I'm going to show you how one simple sentence can stop panic before it takes over and completely change the way you handle those awkward moments when a word suddenly disappears. Before the break, we promised you one simple phrase that could completely change those awkward moments when your mind suddenly goes blank.
And I've been waiting for it because I have a feeling this is going to become my new best friend.
I hope so. The phrase is incredibly simple. Give me a second.
That's it?
That's it.
I have to admit, I was expecting something much more complicated.
That's exactly why it works. Real conversations are usually simpler than we imagine.
You know what's funny? I've heard native speakers say that hundreds of times, but I never thought of using it myself.
Because most learners think they need to fill every second with English. They believe silence is dangerous.
Oh, absolutely. The moment there's even 1 second of silence, I immediately think, I have to say something. Anything.
And that's usually when people apologize.
Exactly. Sorry, my English isn't very good.
Or they give up completely.
I've done both.
But here's the interesting part. When you say, give me a second, you're doing something completely different.
You're telling the other person, I haven't finished yet.
Exactly. You're still in control of the conversation.
I never thought about it like that.
Think about it this way. Imagine we're talking and I suddenly say, give me a second. Would that feel strange to you?
Not at all. I'd just wait.
Would you assume I don't speak English?
No. I'd probably assume you're thinking.
Exactly.
So why do learners think everyone will judge them?
Because we tend to judge ourselves much more harshly than other people do.
That's becoming a theme in today's episode.
It really is.
I think a lot of our problems happen inside our own heads before anyone else even notices.
That's a very good observation. Most conversations aren't ruined by forgetting a word. They're ruined by the panic that comes after forgetting the word.
So today we're learning how to interrupt that panic.
Exactly. Instead of panicking, you give your brain permission to think.
I like the sound of that.
Let's imagine you're at work again. Your manager asks, which document should we use for tomorrow's meeting? What would the old version of Mary have done?
Oh, I know this one. I'd probably freeze for a second, then smile awkwardly and say, sorry, my English is bad.
And then?
I'd spend the next 30 seconds feeling embarrassed instead of actually answering the question.
Right. Now, let's try it another way. Same situation, same manager, same forgotten word. Ready?
Let's do it.
Which document should we use for tomorrow's meeting?
Give me a second. I think we should use the file that everyone on the team can open and edit together.
Perfect. Now imagine I'm your manager. I'd probably say, oh, you mean the shared file?
Exactly. And then I'd simply say, yes, that's the one.
Conversation finished. Problem solved.
What's interesting is I still forgot the word,
You did.
but somehow it didn't feel like a disaster anymore.
Because your goal changed.
Instead of trying to sound perfect, I was trying to communicate.
That's one of the biggest mindset shifts any English learner can make.
Can I ask something that might sound silly?
There are no silly questions here.
What if I have to say, give me a second, more than once in the same conversation? Wouldn't that sound strange?
Not at all. Think about your own language for a moment. Have you ever stopped to think before answering someone?
Of course, especially if someone asks me an unexpected question.
Exactly. Nobody expects you to answer every question instantly. Sometimes people need a moment to organize their thoughts.
That's true. Even when I speak my first language, I sometimes pause before answering.
Because you're thinking, not because you don't know the language.
That's actually a huge difference. I think I've been confusing thinking with struggling.
Beautifully said. Thinking is normal. Struggling is normal too. The important thing is that you don't let either one stop the conversation.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
You know GPS navigation.
Okay, explain that one.
When you're driving and you miss a turn, the GPS doesn't say, well, you failed, the journey is over.
That's true.
It simply says, recalculating.
I love that.
That's what we should do in conversations. Forget a word, recalculate. Find another route. Keep driving.
That might be my favorite analogy you've ever used.
Really?
Absolutely. Because that's exactly what fluent speakers do. They don't stop the conversation, they simply find another path.
I wish learners could actually see what goes on inside a native speaker's mind.
They'd probably be surprised.
Why?
Because native speakers don't always choose the perfect word either. Sometimes we explain something in a different way, sometimes we change the sentence halfway through. Sometimes we stop and say, wait, that's not what I meant.
Really?
All the time. Language isn't a performance, it's a process.
I think that's another sentence worth remembering.
I do too.
Language isn't a performance, it's a process.
Exactly. Now let's teach everyone another bridge phrase.
Ooh, I like these. What's next?
This one is something I use almost every day. How can I say this?
Oh, I hear that all the time.
Because it's incredibly natural. Let's imagine you're telling a friend about a movie. You can't remember one word. Instead of stopping, you simply say, how can I say this? Then you keep talking.
Let me try.
Go for it.
I watched this movie last weekend, and the ending was, how can I say, not what I expected. It wasn't exactly sad, but it wasn't happy either. It left me thinking for hours afterward.
That's fantastic. You never actually found the perfect word, but I completely understood what you meant.
I was looking for bittersweet.
And you didn't need it.
That's actually kind of freeing.
It is, because here's the secret. People remember ideas. They don't remember whether you used the perfect vocabulary word.
That's so true. I can't remember the exact words people used in conversations yesterday. I just remember what they meant.
Exactly. Meaning is what people take away, not individual words.
I feel like that's something learners forget. We're so busy chasing perfect English that we forget communication was always the real goal.
And that's exactly why today's lesson matters. We're not building a bigger vocabulary today. We're building confidence. Because confidence doesn't come from knowing every word. It comes from knowing what to do when you don't.
I have a feeling a lot of people listening are going to try these phrases today.
I hope they do. In fact, let's give them a little challenge before we continue.
I love these!
The next time you forget a word today, don't apologize. Pause, smile, say, give me a second, or how can I say this? Then finish your thought using the words you already know.
And don't worry if it isn't perfect.
Because perfection isn't today's goal.
Staying in the conversation is.
Exactly. And in the next part, we're going to show you something even more powerful. Not just how to buy yourself time, but how to explain almost any forgotten word using the vocabulary you already have.
Which means even if the word never comes back, the conversation never has to stop.
Now that's real fluency. Before we move on, I have a question for you.
Uh-oh, whenever you say that, I know you're about to challenge me.
Maybe just a little. Tell me honestly, when you forget a word, what do you usually do first?
I stop talking.
Completely?
Pretty much. I just sit there hoping the word magically appears.
Has that strategy ever worked?
Once.
Once.
Well, eventually.
How long did it take?
Probably 5 or 6 seconds.
How did those 5 seconds feel?
Like 5 hours.
Exactly.
Isn't it funny how time changes when you're nervous?
It really does. A 2-second pause feels enormous when you're the one speaking.
But if someone else pauses...
You barely notice.
That's so true. If you stopped talking for 2 seconds right now, I wouldn't think anything of it.
But if you paused for 2 seconds,
I'd assume I'd completely failed.
which brings us to today's next skill.
I'm ready.
Stop waiting for the perfect word.
Easier said than done.
True. But let me explain why. Imagine I ask you a simple question. What's something you use when it rains?
An umbrella.
Good. Now pretend you've forgotten the word umbrella. Don't say it. Just explain it to me.
Okay, it's something you carry when it's raining. You open it above your head so you don't get wet.
Did I understand you?
I think so.
More than I think so. I knew exactly what you meant.
Even though I never said the word?
Exactly. That's the magic of describing instead of stopping.
I have to admit, that felt much easier than trying to force myself to remember the word.
Because your brain changed jobs.
What do you mean?
Instead of searching for one missing word, you started using all the words you already knew.
That's actually a really different way of thinking. Instead of focusing on what I don't know, I'm using what I do know.
Exactly. And that's how confident speakers think.
Wait, are you saying confident speakers don't necessarily know more vocabulary?
Sometimes they do, but often they're simply better at working around the words they forget.
That's encouraging, because learning thousands of new words feels impossible sometimes.
You don't need thousands more. You need to become more flexible with the words you already have.
Can we practice?
Absolutely. Let's play a little game.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know me well. Here's the rule. I'm going to give you a word. You can't say that word. You have to explain it. Ready?
Let's do it.
Bicycle.
Okay, it's something with 2 wheels. You ride it instead of driving. People often use it for exercise or to get around the city.
Perfect. I knew the answer after your first sentence.
Really?
Honestly, after 2 wheels.
That wasn't as difficult as I expected.
Ready for another?
Go ahead.
Refrigerator.
It's the big machine in your kitchen that keeps your food cold. You open it 100 times a day, even when you're not hungry.
That last part is very relatable.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't. I think we've all done that.
Especially late at night.
Exactly. See what just happened there?
What?
You forgot we were practicing English.
You're right. We actually started talking about real life.
And that's when language becomes natural. You're no longer thinking, what vocabulary word should I use? You're simply trying to communicate an idea.
I think that's why this feels less stressful.
It should, because conversations aren't vocabulary competitions. They're about sharing ideas.
Can I challenge you now?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Explain coffee without saying coffee.
Oh, that's easy. It's the drink many adults believe they can't live without. It usually helps you wake up in the morning, or at least makes you believe it does.
Okay, I knew exactly what you meant.
See? Descriptions work both ways.
All right, one more. Explain phone.
It's something you probably looked at 5 minutes ago.
That's accurate.
You use it to call people, send messages, watch videos, check the weather, read the news, and somehow still complain you're bored.
Okay, that one felt a little personal.
I wasn't talking about you.
You were definitely talking about me.
Maybe a little.
I think everyone listening just smiled.
Probably because they recognize themselves too.
James, I've just realized something.
What's that?
When I describe something, instead of searching for the perfect word, I actually keep speaking.
Exactly. And every extra second you're speaking, you're building confidence.
Instead of building fear.
Right. Confidence isn't created by perfect conversations. It's created by surviving imperfect ones.
That's a really powerful sentence. Say that again.
Confidence isn't created by perfect conversations, it's created by surviving imperfect ones.
I wish someone had told me that when I first started learning English.
I spent years believing every mistake meant I wasn't improving.
When in reality, every mistake meant you were practicing.
That's such a different perspective. Let me ask everyone listening something. Think about when you were a child. Did you always know the right word in your first language?
Definitely not.
What did you do?
I described things, or I pointed at them, or I asked someone what they were called.
Exactly. Children don't stop communicating because they don't know one word. They become creative.
Somewhere along the way, adults forget how to do that.
Because adults become afraid of looking imperfect.
Children don't care.
Not at all. They'll happily say, "It's the thingy."
Or, the thing.
And somehow, everyone understands them.
That's actually true.
So, here's a challenge. I want everyone listening to borrow a little bit of that childlike confidence. Not the vocabulary, the attitude.
The willingness to keep communicating, even if the sentence isn't perfect.
Exactly. Because communication rewards courage, not perfection.
I think today's lesson is becoming much bigger than vocabulary.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's really about changing the way we think.
It is. Because once you stop seeing forgotten words as failures, you start seeing them as opportunities to become more creative.
And creativity is a huge part of language.
Absolutely. Every conversation is a little different. Every person explains things differently. That's what makes language interesting.
I have one final question before we move on.
Go for it.
What if I describe something and the other person still doesn't understand?
Great question. Then you simply describe it another way, or use your hands, or give an example, or compare it to something else. Communication isn't about finding one perfect sentence. It's about working together until the message becomes clear.
So if the first explanation doesn't work, that doesn't mean I failed.
Not at all. It simply means you're still building the bridge.
I love that image. Building the bridge instead of staring at the gap.
Exactly. And in the final part of today's episode, we're going to bring everything together. We'll show you how these simple techniques can completely change the way you think during real conversations, so the next time your mind goes blank, you won't panic. You'll know exactly what to do. Mary, when we first started today's episode, you told us about forgetting the word shared.
I remember. Mostly because I was hoping everyone else would forget.
Sorry, not happening. But something interesting has happened over the last half hour.
What's that?
If that same situation happened again today, I don't think you'd react the same way.
I don't think I would either. I think I'd still forget the word, but I wouldn't forget myself.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Because that's really what panic does. It doesn't just make us forget vocabulary, it makes us forget everything we already know.
That's exactly how it feels. One missing word suddenly convinces you that you've forgotten the entire language.
Even though you've successfully spoken for several minutes already.
Which is kind of funny when you think about it. I've had conversations where I spoke English for 10 minutes, forgot one tiny word, and then went home thinking my English was terrible today.
Isn't it amazing how our brains ignore the 10 successful minutes and only remember the 5 awkward seconds?
Why do we do that?
Because our brains naturally pay more attention to uncomfortable moments. It's something psychologists call a negativity bias. We're wired to remember what felt uncomfortable, even if it was only a tiny part of the experience.
So my brain is basically making the awkward moment seem much bigger than it really was.
Exactly. Imagine watching a 2-hour movie. If one scene isn't very good, does that ruin the whole movie?
Of course not.
But that's exactly what many English learners do. One difficult moment, and suddenly they think the entire conversation was a disaster.
I've definitely done that, more times than I'd like to admit.
I think we all have. The important thing is learning not to believe every thought that pops into our heads.
That's actually useful outside of learning English, too.
Absolutely. Confidence isn't about never doubting yourself. It's about not letting those doubts make your decisions.
I think I understand something now that I never really understood before.
What's that?
I've always believed confidence came first. Like, one day I'd magically become confident and then I'd start speaking better English.
That's a very common belief.
But I think it's actually the opposite.
Go on.
I think confidence grows because you keep speaking, even when you don't feel confident.
Exactly. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build, one conversation at a time, one uncomfortable moment at a time, one forgotten word at a time.
That's actually encouraging, because waiting to feel ready could take forever.
It usually does. Most people don't suddenly wake up one morning thinking, "Today I'm completely confident." They become confident because they collect evidence.
Evidence?
Every time you survive a conversation, your brain learns something. It learns, "Oh, I forgot a word," and nothing terrible happened.
Then the next conversation feels a little easier.
Exactly. Then the next one, and the next one. That's how confidence quietly grows.
I like that idea. You're not trying to become fearless overnight. You're just proving to yourself that you can handle these moments.
Beautifully said. You don't need to eliminate fear. You simply need to stop obeying it.
You know, James, can I tell you something that happened a few months ago?
Of course.
I met someone at a conference. We started talking in English. About 5 minutes into the conversation, I forgot a really simple word. I apologized, just like I always used to. And the other person smiled and said, "It's okay. I forgot a word in my own language yesterday."
Really?
I'll never forget that, because in that moment, I realized I wasn't talking to a language expert. I was talking to another human being.
That's one of my favorite stories you've told, because that's exactly what conversations are. They're not language competitions. They're two people trying to understand each other.
I wish more learners believed that.
I think they will, especially after today.
I hope so, because if today's episode has taught me anything, it's that communication is much more forgiving than I imagined.
It really is. People are usually much more interested in your ideas than whether your grammar was perfect.
That's something worth remembering before every conversation.
In fact, let's quickly recap everything we've learned today.
Good idea. We've covered quite a lot.
Lesson number 1. Forgetting a word does not mean your English is bad. It means you're having a very normal human moment.
Lesson number 2, don't panic. Buy yourself a little time. Simple phrases like, "Give me a second," or "How can I say this?" Tell the other person you're still thinking, not giving up.
Lesson number 3. If the perfect word doesn't come, describe the idea instead. Use the vocabulary you already have. Communication is about meaning, not memorization.
And lesson number 4, which might be my favorite. Stop treating conversations like exams. They're partnerships. The other person wants to understand you. They're not waiting for you to fail.
That's exactly right. You know, before we finish, I'd like to give everyone listening one small challenge.
Homework?
More like an experiment.
I like experiments better.
Sometime in the next 24 hours, have one conversation in English. It doesn't have to be long. Maybe it's with a colleague, a classmate, a friend, or even someone in a shop. And if you forget a word, don't apologize. Don't quit. Don't switch back to your first language immediately. Instead, pause. Take a breath. Say, "Give me a second," or "How can I say this?" Then keep talking. Describe the idea. Trust yourself. See what happens.
And afterwards, don't ask yourself, "Did I speak perfect English?" Ask yourself, "Did I keep the conversation alive?" Because I think that's a much better question.
I couldn't agree more. Progress isn't measured by how many mistakes you avoided. It's measured by how many conversations you were brave enough to have.
You know, I think future me is going to be very grateful for today's lesson.
Why's that?
Because the next time I forget a word, instead of hearing that little voice saying, "Your English is terrible," I think I'll hear your voice saying, "Keep the conversation alive."
I'll take that as a compliment.
It definitely is.
And if everyone listening remembers just one sentence from today's episode, I hope it's this. Your goal isn't to prove that you know every English word. Your goal is to help another person understand what you mean. If you can do that, you're already communicating successfully.
And if today's conversation helped you feel just a little more confident or made you realize you're not alone, then we've done exactly what we hoped to do.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We really appreciate every single one of you.
And remember, don't wait until your English is perfect before you start speaking. Speak now. Learn as you go, because every conversation is helping you become the speaker you want to be.
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love for you to follow the podcast and share it with someone who's learning English too. You never know. One simple conversation might give someone the confidence to have their next one.
Until next time, I'm Mary.
And I'm James.
Keep learning,
Keep speaking.
and we'll see you in the next episode.